Power has been restored, boys and girls. Power has been restored. I am now firing on all cylinders. I am pleased to announce I am much, much better now. After quite a long period of time where I haven't been feeling well at all. Well, I went to the doctor. And he gave me these pills, okay? Now, we're not talking happy pills. There's nothing wrong with me. Well, I mean, there is something wrong with my head, as you know, but I am able usually to control that, okay? There's nothing wrong with the head, but there's been a medical thing, okay? Which I'm not going to go into it. No, horses wouldn't drag it from me. But I was given these pills on... when was it? Last Tuesday? So, feeling rough. I mean, really, I've actually been feeling really rough for about 2 months. And it's just marvellous, I tell you. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, rough. Saturday, rough. Sunday, I thought, I've got some energy back. And Monday, it was almost back to normal. There's something else you'll notice. Any sign of a sniff or a cough? It's all gone. The whole lot gone. I mean, ain't it unbelievable? It really is what they can do now with their bits and pieces. I can't believe it. Just a few pills and I feel like I'm born again. I'm born free as the wind blows. As free as the... I don't know what the rest is. Oh, I've got that on the karaoke. Would you like me to sing that for you? Would you? Would you like me to sing that, lovies? We haven't done a song for ages, have we? We must do a song, dear. Actually, yeah, just a minute now. Let me get me song. The words will come up on the screen next to me, you see. So, just a minute. Incidentally, I felt, because I feel so good today, I've also put a tie on. I've got a shirt and a blue tie on today. I look a little bit like an estate agent, but please don't let that make you not trust me, because we all know estate. Does anyone trust an estate agent? I don't think so. Not the sales lot. Anyway, born free. Let's give that one a go. We've never had a go at that one. Born free. Hang on, I'll need me headphones so I can hear the music a bit. I'll put that over there. Oh, it's there. Matt Monroe did this. Have you seen that film, Born Free? Oh, the little lion. Has me in bleeding tears, it really does. Now, I'm going to just put this to my ear for a second so I can hear what's going on. Oh, here we go. Oh, big start. Here, big start, big start. Born free as the wind blows. As free as the grass grows, born free to follow your heart. Live free, and beauty surrounds you. The world still astounds you each time you look at a star. Stay free. When no walls divide you, walls, you're free as a roaring tide, so there's no need to hide. You're free, and life is worth living, but only worth living 'cause you're born free. Oh, the little lions running around in the jungle. We love it. Elsa, that was the name of the tiger, wasn't it? Elsa the tiger, yes. I have my own tiger here in the Mirrorball Studios in the form of Katie the cat. She's patrolling my grounds as we sing together. Stay free where no walls divide you. You're free as a roaring tide, so there's no need to hide. You're free, and life is worth living, You're born free. Oh, that's... Yeah, oh. All right, calm down. Blimey, the orchestra's gone mad, dears. Well. Did you enjoy that? I love it. We love a bit of Born Free. There we are. It's a long time since I sung to you. And someone, who was it asking for me to sing the other day? I think it was Thomas. I think it was Thomas in Poland, or it might have been our guy in Hong Kong. I can't remember. But as you can hear, the cough, everything. All I have now is a bit of a sore throat. Okay, bit of a sore throat. Now, as I said to you right at the beginning of the year, it has been a particularly bad year. At the moment, these problems have now gone, so I'm kind of leaving it at that. But it's all I will say, it's an ongoing thing. So a little bit of a problem, more of an inconvenience than anything else. But it's just marvellous. It's marvellous now what they can do at the doctors or hospital or anything like that, isn't it? So many things in the world now that they can sort, that even just 10 years ago they couldn't have sorted. Unbelievable. I always remember having a burst appendix must be the year Diana died, so Princess Diana, 97 was it? Something, 97, 98, 99, something like that. And I always remember being in a hospital then, and they said, if you'd have come in here 15 years ago, we wouldn't have been able to save you. So there we are, okay? That's my good news. You can hear it, no cough. Do I look a bit more glowing? Am I glowing? Am I glowing like a beacon? Like a beacon in this world of hopelessness? Hopelessly devoted. Oh no, we've done one song already today. I've also had a haircut, okay? Very, very short haircut. I went into the air. He said, what do you want? Oh, I said, I just can't be bothered. Just get rid of it all. I bought the hair. Cut it all off. Shaving away it was. It was a woman, actually. Nice young lady. Chat. Every time, I do notice this in the hairdressers. I think they fancy me. Because every time she comes around the front, she brushes her... I can't say the words. She brushes her chest. Shall we say her chest? She brushes her chest across my arm. I don't know if she realises she's doing it or not. I don't know, but every time... And I kept feeling a little brush. I went, I wish you'd stop doing that with your chest, dear. It's a liberty, dear. They do take liberties, some of these people. So I've had a haircut. Also, as mentioned on a previous show, I have now finished Bingay, which I was doing on Tuesday nights. So I'm now no longer doing Bingay anywhere. Will I do it again? Possibly. I don't know. But for the moment, I don't want to work every night anymore. I'm 46 this week, as you know. I do not want to work every single night anymore. So that's it. So what I've got now is every Tuesday off. I only do one job now on a Friday instead of two, okay? And even then, that's every 2 weeks. So at the moment, I have off every Tuesday night and every other Friday. And that's it for now, really. The other nights, Tuesday I do... What do? Monday I do karaoke. Tuesday I'm off. Wednesday I do another radio thing, which I'll tell you at... those of you watching on YouTube, or indeed listening on podcast, I will tell you about, okay? Right at the very end. So after the closing music's happened, hang around and I'll tell you about it, okay? It's not fair for me to tell it in the main part of the programme because this show goes out on other stations, right? So if you want to hear that, you'll need to go to the podcast, which you can find... I'm sorry, no, it won't be on the video. No, tell a lie, it won't be on the video. It will only be on the audio podcast, something else I'm doing at the moment, which you can find at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. As I said in a previous show, it's not the done thing to talk about work you do on, or indeed stuff you do on other radio stations, okay, if it's on another station. so I don't do that in the main part of the show. So you won't hear, if you're listening to this via one of the many wonderful stations that kindly play this program out, you won't hear about it. You will have to go to the podcast, and it'll be right at the end of the podcast. All right? And the podcast date, well, because sometimes, quite often, the dates of the podcast are different to the dates of the show. The podcast date will be Tuesday, the 3rd of February. All right, Tuesday the 3rd of February, right at the end, after the music. You should hear it there. All right, and that's what I'm doing. Yes, so I had a bit of a leaving do on Tuesday. Oh, sorry, I didn't get through, did I? So Wednesday I do this other radio thing. Thursday I do DJing. Every other Friday I do DJing. Saturday I do DJing. And Sunday I do DJing. So still very busy. And of course there's these shows to do as well, my 3 chat shows. Also, I don't really mention this very often, but as a DJ, I do upload a DJ mix every week. Now, this is just completely music. All right, those of you screaming at me, oh, you're not allowed to do that. Yes, you are. You need a podcast music license. Okay. Now, I do know that we have, when I say you need a podcast music license, if you are playing music that is not Podsafe music. Now, Podsafe music, for those of you that don't know, is music that is not licensed. Okay, so anyone can play Podsafe music, and you do not need a license to play it. Usually, new groups or singers or bands, something like that, they want to get the word of their work around to get somewhere. So they will release their music and anyone can use it. That's called Podsafe music. All other music, which is just the general stuff you hear on the radio or in the charts or perhaps on the television, something like that, for that you need a license, which indeed I have. Now, podcasters who watch or listen to this show may not know about this, but it's a relatively inexpensive license depending on how many downloads your show gets. Now, my DJ mix show, which is literally only music, there is no talk at all, it's like one long mix, lasts about an hour and a quarter, an hour and 20 minutes, and I upload one of these every week. I'm going to give you a pen in a minute and you can download it free of charge. Okay, we don't make any money from this at all. It's a hobby. Okay, I just like to give people stuff. That's me. The music podcasting license is available from this address. You can do it all online, and it's ever so easy to do. It really is. Now, I think I mentioned before the PRS music people here in the UK for years have, in all honesty, been a total and utter mess. It's been a right shambles, and they don't seem to have been able to get their act together. However, now I think they have. At last, and it's taken years to get to this point, and I'm proud of the people at PRS for Music for getting this far, because this is really easy. It's really easy now to get your podcast license, or indeed online radio license. Now, if you want a podcast license, go to www.prsformusic.com. All right? Have a look on there at the menu, and what you want to get to music podcasting service. Like it gives you the various different types of service that you can buy a license for. That's the one I've got. Now, there is a couple of rules, and basically the main rule is that if anyone downloads your podcast, they must not be able to break up the music into separate tracks cleanly. This is easier for you, the program maker or podcast maker. It's easier for you than it sounds. All it means basically is that you need to talk across the beginning of the track and the end of the track, or some other way obscure it. You could play a jingle over it, like a sweep, like, "You're listening to Chris Reardon's podcast," you know, at the beginning where the introduction is. Okay? Or if it's a DJ mix show like the one I upload is, then what you have to do is mix the records together so they are joined. So the guy that downloads the podcast from you can't split up and get a clean song. The idea is, you see, of course, they don't want people to download your show and then be able to get the records off it. They want people to buy the records, which is completely understandable. That is fantastic. But nevertheless, this wasn't available a few years ago, and everyone was doing it illegally. Well, now you don't have to do it illegally. You can do it completely legally. Once again, I'll give it to you again. PRS4. This is only for people in the UK, incidentally. In your own countries, you will have something completely different. PRS4music.com. You want the music podcasting license, music podcasting service license, all right? They have 3 different bands for this. The one I have has cost me for the year £107 plus VAT. Now, for that, they allow people to download 68,000 works. So that is kind of 68,000 tracks. Now, remember that, okay, because that's important. It's not 68,000 podcasts, it's 68,000 tracks. So, for example, if you played 20 tracks in a podcast, then that would be 20 out of your 68,000. So that's quite enough. And for most people on their own, you know, the one-man band, which indeed I am, that is plenty. 68,000 works will probably suit you, all right? If you find you get more downloads, then they have 2 other rates. £214 plus VAT would double that to 136,000 works. And if you're doing really well, then you'll need the really expensive one, £536 for 340,000 works. All right, so it goes up the scale. But, you know, I mean, I don't get anywhere near 68,000 works on my little show. So there we are. That's a little bit about the PRS license. Once again, have a look. Don't do it illegally. It's just not worth it. You will get caught. At some point, everyone gets caught. The PRS, they're not particularly hard-handed about when they get caught. What will happen, and I've heard this from many people, is that you will get an email. You'll get an email from PRS saying, hello, we understand you're using music. Please purchase a license for this, and they give you the information, all right? So you get a chance to do it right, which I think is very fair. It's not like these damn speed cameras, is it? Once they've got you, that's it. They're not like that at all. They are very nice to deal with. There's phone numbers on there. There's some wonderful people on there. A guy called Lee that I was speaking to the other day, and a guy called Richard as well. All right. So once again, PRS4music.com, and you want the music podcasting license. And if you want any help with that, then send an email to the show. Okay. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, and I'll only be too happy to help you with that. Anyway, so I had the leaving thing at Bingay on Tuesday, which was quite good. A very unusual night, actually, because what happened is that we had a hell of a lot of new faces. Oh, dear. Sorry, just a minute. I dropped my headphones. We had a lot of new faces and only one of the regulars in, which was a bit odd, really. I couldn't quite work out what was going on. But a reasonable night, a good night was had by all. And the manager, John, was there. And he bought me a great big bunch of flowers. He bought me a carrier bag full of cheese and onion crisps, a nice big bar of chocolate, and I got this. That's what John bought me. Okay, so very, very grateful for that, John. Thank you so much, and so much better than the old box of biscuits, because I wasn't even. I think I was at that venue for just under a year. I actually felt quite bad leaving, but we do need to slow down a little bit. I'm just banging away here at work all the time. And what for? Why do we need to work every night of the week? We don't. We don't need to work every night of the week. We certainly don't. And the old doctor said that I should slow down a bit as well. So I now have done. I didn't really want to give it up, to be honest. But you have to look across all the jobs you do and you choose, well, which one isn't doing really that well? And so that was the one. It was also the one that creates the most work. So I decided that's the one. So I did feel guilty, but that's the way it goes. And John bought me those lovely flowers and bits and pieces. And thank you so much, John. That's very, very kind of you. Really kind. He also passed me on something that someone had left me. A tambourine. Look at this. Yeah. Now, at my karaoke night, Belushi's on Monday. That's at 8 o'clock if you ever want to come. Belushi's, no, sorry, 9 o'clock. Belushi's in Hammersmith. Every Monday night is the karaoke. Okay, at 9 o'clock, unless they have football, in which case it starts straight after the football. And I always have tambourine with me, and I've got a new one now. Yeah, Bambolero, Bambolero. It's got little red ribbons hanging from it as well. I feel like a Morris dancer. They're very camp, aren't they, Morris dancers? I probably wouldn't be any good at that because you've got to be very camp to do that sort of thing. You know, a little bit more gay acting, shall we say. Although Morris, or what I want to point out, Morris dancers are not gay. Well, some of them might be, but it's not a gay thing, okay? It's just a I don't know, an afternoon of total campness by straight men. It's all very odd, really. It's Chris Reardon with you. This is United Kingdom Talk. My email address, if you'd like to join in at any time, be lovely to hear from you. It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Do you like, those of you watching on YouTube, do you like the tie and all this? Eh? I don't know, our little friend on YouTube, and a number of you have gone and watched his little videos. He's a very young lad. I think he's 14, and he's now doing YouTube videos. I'll give you the addresses of that as well. Do feel free to comment on his videos. I'm always a great believer in encouraging young people to do what they love to do. And this young 14-year-old, he loves making these videos. He enjoys it. If you want to put a little comment on there, say perhaps you like it or something like that, please feel free to do so. If you want to put constructive criticism, okay, then he will probably be okay with that. That sort of thing you want to send to him as a private message. I'm going to give you the address in a second, so get your pen ready. But don't put anything nasty there. It's nothing worse than it doesn't matter to me. I'm older now. I do get the odd, not actually from this show, but on the other station I do. I get a couple of vile emails. But it doesn't bother me. It's in one eye and out the other, and then I usually print these nasty emails off the machine, and I take them in the toilet with me, and I usually end up wiping something with them and chucking them down the toilet. I've got no time for that. But when it's a young person, they can be affected. They can be affected by something nasty coming down the line. Okay, so please don't do that. Don't start leaving nasty emails or anything like that. Constructive criticism, maybe. For example, I was just watching his last video. I'm excited. Now, I'll give you the website now to watch his little videos. It's www.youtube.com/FizzerAP. Fizzers, I'll spell it. F for father, I, Z, Z, A, S for sugar, A, P. All right? www.youtube.com/F for father, I, Z, Z, A, S for sugar, A, P for Peter. Have a little look at his videos. See what you think. Send him a note saying you like it, but he wants to learn. Okay, he wants advice. Perhaps there's one or two of you out there that do your own YouTube videos and you're a little bit professional. Maybe you can help this young lad as well. I watched your excited one. I can't remember what your name is now. You did tell me your name. Fizzer. I just called you Fizzer. Fizzasp. Fizzer SAP. Oh, that's it. Fizzer SAP. I was watching your excited one, and you were saying you were excited, but it wasn't much there, I thought. My little mate. Here's a suggestion. Before you do your videos, right, get yourself a piece of paper. Write down what you've been doing the day, perhaps. Anything that you might have been doing. I don't know. Well, I got up this morning, had breakfast. Oh, and Mum fell over on the kitchen floor. Something like that. So kind of start keeping a diary. That's the thing to do. Have you got? You probably haven't got a diary. I didn't have a diary when I was 14. Or a little notebook, and write down things that you think are interesting and that people might want to know about. And then just before you do your show, you get your book, okay, and you get your bit of paper and write down on the bit of paper, not a script, don't write down word for word what you're going to say, but just lines, so that you can start at the top. Right, hello, my name's Fizzer. Yeah, I've been to school today, and we've got this teacher who I really don't like. Now, don't name the teacher, okay? Never use people's names. You could say, however, yeah, we've got this French teacher, all right, but you mustn't use names or the name of the school, so no one can sort of work it back there. Never use a video or a podcast to seek revenge. I had a couple of awful teachers. The history teacher, nasty piece of good she was. Oh, she was horrible. Oh, actually, and the religious education teacher. I hated both of them. Hate. But you must never name them, okay? Because anyone could watch it. It could get back to your teacher, and you're in a bit of trouble then. All right, so remember that. But just write down interesting things that you think people might want to listen about. Or maybe, I don't know if you ever watched the news. I don't think I really watched the news when I was 14 years old. But if there's anything in the news that interests you, maybe you could comment on that. All right? So anything like that. But the I'm excited one, it was a little bit... I was kind of wondering what's going to happen. Is anything... And you didn't really get into anything. So I hope that helps you, my little mate. And anything you want to know, just email me, usual address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, and I'll be pleased to help you. All right, quality-wise, the picture's fantastic. I don't know what camera you're using there. Can you let us know what camera you're using? All I use to do this show is a Microsoft VX7000 webcam. I don't actually own a proper video camera. People are often surprised at that. I think you also asked me, how can you make my shows more than 10 minutes long on YouTube? I'm afraid you can't. The reason this show is an hour long is because back in, I think it was February last year, YouTube decided to introduce a limit of 10 minutes on all videos. Now, fortunately, they decided that the people who were already uploading videos longer than 10 minutes and had been doing so for a period of time, which must have been just a couple of weeks ago, were to be continued to allowed to do so. So that's why when you watch this video, it's an hour long, or just under an hour long. I'm very, very lucky to have been able to get in just before that happened. However, there is another site, Google Video. All right, Google Video. Now, that last year was really messy, and it just didn't work. You'd upload an hour's worth of video, and you'd find there would only be 10 seconds and stuff like that. It was a blooming nightmare, to be honest. However, they appear now to have sorted out whatever problems they were having with that. Okay, so if you want to have a little look at Google Video, I did also try Daily Motion Video, which I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. But I had a number of problems with that, and the emails were not being answered, so I've come off that now. Which is a shame, because it's a very good-looking site, Daily Motion Video. But I was uploading our videos, and then they'd send me back this thing saying, oh, you're using music, will you sign this and all this? So I signed it all, but the videos never appeared, so I gave up in the end. Complete pain in the bum. All right, mate. All right, let's go on to emails then. Here we go. Chris at United Kingdom Talk is my email address. And first of all, it's our mate Leo in Norway who sent this a couple of weeks ago. He says, to our Chris, I take the liberty to call you our Chris, as I think I have a lot of listeners and viewers with me that can join me in the term our. I like that. I really like that. That's a lovely thing to say. It really is. To hear you from 3 times a week makes us feel close to you and also gets to know something about your other listeners and what they're engaged in. It's very good to get a broader perspective on life in countries around on our earth. The thing is, we all have so much in common. Thoughts, hopes and so on. Yeah, often people talk about people in other countries. Oh, they're so different. And actually, underneath the surface, we're all the same. We're all the same. We just want a reasonably happy life, I think. And that's it. One thing I don't understand, though, is that you can't find a person to share your life with. Maybe you've been living on your own too long and have got too self-sufficient. Yeah, I think that's part of the problem. Don't know if that's the right word. I'm not good in mastering your language. Don't you worry about that, Leo. We're all right there. When we get older, we tend to set our goals higher, and that applies in the field of finding a suitable partner. Too choosy, one may say. Well, yeah, I think so. I think I got very choosy at one point. You see, when the... where's my slippers gone? I've got slippers on the floor under here. I think you do get very choosy. While the offers are flooding in, and they do at a certain age, you get choosy, and then it just stops. It does. There's a lot of people listening to this show now who know exactly what I mean. 1 minute, everyone's after you, and then there's nothing. And we're at the nothing stage at the moment. Never mind. Guess a lot of guys you meet are good looking and charming, but then what? Well, they are, but none of them chat me up. Does... There are always something wrong with them. He says, the excuse for a little laugh. Yeah, then... So you always find something, don't you, hey? Maybe you'll consider this and maybe not set the goals so high in 2009. I don't think my goals are too high. Actually. You know, anything with a pulse, send it round. The main thing is to be satisfied with what you have and also the life you live. What do I stand to lose if another person moved in with me? Satisfied with what I have. We have moved much closer to that in the last couple of weeks. Me being satisfied with what I have around me. So there is some truth in that. Certainly, giving myself a little bit of time back has done wonders. I mean, it really has. It may be that I decide to do one more night. I might just get rid of one more night. I don't know yet. I want to see how I go now with 1 night off and 1 night every other week off. I might just take one more night. I'm not sure yet. Leo said, I guess you've turned this over in your mind several times, but here you had it in writing from me. Thank you very much, sir. And he says, then on to something completely different. Leo's in, did I say he's in Norway? Yep. I'd love to go and see the Northern Lights at some point. Joanna Lumley was doing this programme I was watching on the television the other day about the Northern Lights. It was just fantastic. Unfortunately, a lot of people go to see them and it doesn't happen. It's just a bit luck of the draw, really. Leo says, now the days have started to grow longer yet again up here in the Northern Hemisphere, and indeed they have here in Royal Berkshire. As I'm a gardener, sowing seeds from the middle of January is what I've always done. Maybe I can be your garden advisor this year. If you or the listeners have questions on anything in that field, I can help. Okay, got one for you. When I was just 16 years old, I used to grow plants, tomatoes, that sort of thing, you know. When do I plant the tomato seeds? I do have a shed which is frost-free, which could be very useful. And tomatoes are relatively an expensive item. I do actually eat quite a lot of them. When do I plant tomato seeds? And what should I plant? I used to plant Moneymaker. Shall I use those again? And should I use a seed tray? Please, your advice on tomatoes, all right? Leo says, even though we live in different climate zones, I guess we could find an answer to most questions. Okay, tomatoes and anything else you suggest? Don't really want to put them into the garden. I would put them in pots around the garden. Or maybe grow bags. I've got a patio area which I could use actually to put a lot of pots there. And it does get quite a bit of sun there. So your suggestion would be gratefully received, all right? Now there's a time to order the seeds for flowers and vegetables to have them handy when the right time arrives. I've placed my order and we are expecting them to arrive in a week or two. A lot of different flowers are very easy to sow and grow. Just follow the instructions that is on the back of the bag very carefully, and a lot of light after germination, and there you are. An awful lot of money can be saved by growing your own. It's not so much the money that you save, it's the satisfaction of knowing that you have created food from this tiny little thing. That's what I find amazing. You sprinkle a few seeds in pots and things in. That's what I'm asking you. When should I start? And 6 months later, you've got a great big bush full of tomatoes. How fantastic is that? And you just get so much satisfaction going out there and picking them. And that's the other thing. Should I plant the seeds all at the same time? Or should I plant a few this week, a few next week, a few the week after? I think you're going to tell me to do that. Here he goes. Also, you get a feeling for things you have grown from seed. Yeah, you certainly do. Just a thought from me here this morning with the thermometer showing -10 degrees. Oh no, thank you. I'm not coming to Norway. And he sent a picture and he says, P.S. have you gotten your donkey back from Iceland yet? He sent a picture here from last summer of a beautiful, would that be called a fjord? It's like the opening to a river. I'm not quite sure what it is. And there's lots of greenery. And it's actually a black and white picture because I don't have a colour printer, or at least not one that's working. I keep thinking to myself, I must get another colour printer, but I wouldn't use it. I'd rarely use it. And the ink, isn't it so expensive to run a colour printer? It really is. There's another bit here from our friend, Leo, who says, from cold Norway, first I would like to say, I hope you got me right in what I said to you in the last email. Of course I did. I understand what you're saying. As for you making jokes about yourself on air, I felt it would be all right for me to do the same. He says, difficulty in finding a partner to share one's life with. Like my wife and I, who have been married since 1971, things have been up and down a lot of times. Mostly good, of course, but for half a year, it's been hard on both of us. After all, we are two people and not just one married one. Oh, hard to explain, he says. Oh, don't stop there. For God's sake, give us the whole story, dear. Oh, that's horrible, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Do you ever meet someone and they say, oh, I need to tell you something? What? Oh, no, I better not tell you. Oh, don't you hate that? How much do you hate that? I never do that. You get the whole story with me most of the time. Anyway, a person is stuck in old ways and won't go on in that. Oh, I'm not quite sure what you're saying there. Anyway, a person is stuck in old ways and won't go on in that track. I don't know what you're saying there. Or explore new sides. Oh, you're saying that someone won't explore new sides of life and interest. And of course, there will be collisions along the track. I get it. That is life when such things happen. Yeah, well, you know, I think very few of us find someone who is exactly the same as us, shares the same. I mean, my mum and dad seemed to. They really did everything together. But a lot of the time now I find couples and they go out one night and the other one will go out another night and they have completely different interests. I'm sure it wasn't like that years ago. Let me see. On to something else, he says. Guess you people living there in the London area will have trouble now that the cold has set in fully. Don't know about newer houses, but I know that earlier water and sewer pipes used to be very little insulated in the southern part of England and on the outside of the houses. How is it these days? Is it getting better? Well, in the winter, when we have a lot of ice, we do find a lot of burst water mains. So probably not. I don't think a lot of the pipes in London, they're just iron, aren't they? And they don't have any insulation around them at all under the ground. But we do seem to have quite a lot of burst pipes outside the house. I don't know, actually. I really haven't a clue. I don't know how all that sewage stuff works. I just flush the chain and it goes. I actually flushed the chain 4 or 5 times, to be honest. I've got this fear of one day it all coming back up out of the toilet. Oh, God. Oh, you shouldn't joke about that. These terrible floods sometimes people have, don't they? And can you just imagine that? Can you imagine having a flood in your house and having all that stuff on the toilet over your kitchen floor? Oh, oh, it's just an awful thing. And Leo says, and you have put more heat on indoors now. I really hope you have, or you will have to pack yourself all over with hot water bottles. No, the heating has been used since Christmas, all right? I can just see the sight before my eyes of you in hot water bottles. Wouldn't be just one, I'd just be covered in them. The trouble is you'd have to keep filling the damn things up, wouldn't you? A huge, round, blue Chris in front of the camera 3 times a week. I went to have a swim in the gym the other day, and do you know what? The heater had broken down, and the water in the swimming pool was only 22 degrees centigrade, and usually it's 32. That was cold. The showers were ice cold. The only place good heat was in the sauna. Some people... I heard that people in Norway... Is this true? Right? I heard that people in Norway, they have saunas outside. So you go from your house... You walk out in the snow into the sauna and you close the door. Now, I can understand that bit. The bit I don't understand is that after a while, some people in these saunas then throw open the doors and roll around in the snow. Is that right? What the hell's all that about? Please tell me, because I don't... Is there some sort of medical thing that's good for you or something? It's bizarre, dear. Imagine sitting in a really hot sauna and then suddenly throwing the doors open and rolling around in the snow. You do some very, very strange things over there in Oslo, I tell you. He says about the ice-cold showers. Some people complained, of course, but what's the use? A man was already working on the problem with the boiler, so things would be back to normal in a few hours. No, make jokes about the cold weather. Smile and don't give the boy in doing his work a lot of unpleasant words. It wasn't his fault at all, so why ruin his day? He served free coffee and told everyone about the conditions on people's arrival. That's fair enough. You know, I mean, when you see a workman doing something and maybe the electricity's off or any, you know, I mean, if you want to go up to him and say, right, sorry to trouble you, have you any idea when it'll come back on? That's fine. But don't start having a go at him. For God's sake, it's not his fault. Oh, you see them all the time, don't you? When's my electric go? I can't do my washing. Well, you'll have to blooming well wait, won't you? Stop moaning. Dear me. Always people moaning. Leo says, I must admit, I hope things are back to normal today because I'm going there in a few hours. And do you know, at this moment it's minus 16 degrees. This is a second email from him, you see. And one's nose can get frostbite if too long exposed to the element. Dear me. Well, don't pop behind the tree to go to the toilet, will you? Don't want to lose that. Hope the penicillin has started to work for you. Yes, it certainly has. And you will have one less ailment to handle. Is the gland you're having problems the same with what we call the tonsils? No. I had my tonsils out when I was a little boy. I was 7 years old at the time. I had that when we were younger, and it was very painful to swallow food and everything else. Have a good week from your listener, Leo. And it's lovely to hear from you, Leo. I'm really sorry that the email took a long time to come up. There's a picture of one of Leo's cats sprawled out on a chair, which is rather marvellous. Beautiful black and white cat he's got there. Thank you, Leo. Righty-ho. Where are we going? I've got that again. Why have I got that? Have I read that email already in a previous show? Oh, it doesn't matter, does it? I might have done. Little message here from our young mate on YouTube, Fizzer SAP. Fizzer SAP. I'll give you that again. YouTube.com/Fizzer SAP. And he says, my dad works for the BBC. You pay his wages. He does BBC Radio 4 dramas. Well, you never told me that. Your dad works for the BBC? Oh, for God's sake, get him to watch one of my shows, please. I could see me doing this on BBC One late night. Late night with Chris Reardon. What do you reckon? I think that would work. I do. I think people need to be talked to, dear. Yes. And now, a new viewer. Da, 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 da. Hi, Chris. First of all, I want to thank you for uploading your programme, and congratulations, it's fantastic. Thank you very much. I'm a gay guy living in Milan, and I started to watch your show on YouTube since December last year. I always wanted to find a talk show like yours, and I did. I found it. I realised after 2 shows that you were gay. You made your show even more interesting. Is there any particular show that you recommend me to watch? Wish you a very nice day. Bye, dear. 25 and is not out yet, so that means no one knows that he's gay. His name is Jamie. So hello, Jamie. That's all we're saying. He says, ciao, Chris. Ciao. Ciao. I love that. Ciao. Thank you, Jamie. Lovely to hear from you. I don't know what other shows to watch. As you know, this is not... I never ever wanted to do, in my life, I never wanted to do a gay show, okay? I do a show and I just happen to be that way, if you see what I'm saying. I've never liked... I mean, I suppose it's important. Well, it is important. But there are shows, of course, that will touch on gay events and protests and what I'm trying to think of a word here. Oh, what's that word I'm trying to think of here? Oh, you know, I mean, gay oriented program, a gay oriented. That's the wrong word as well. Oriented. Oh, what am I saying? Oriented, that's it. I'm losing the plot here. I never wanted to do a gay oriented program. I never ever wanted to do that. This is, as far as I'm concerned, this is a normal radio show or a normal video show as done by a poof. Okay? Which is what I call myself. I don't care. You call me what you like. It doesn't bother me. So there we are. As you're 25 and you haven't come out yet. Okay. And indeed, you don't need to if you don't want to. I have to tell you, I never told my dad. I thought it would break his heart. There are a lot of gay people that feel the need, oh, I must tell my parents, and if they don't like it, well, that's just how it is. I've never, ever taken that stance at all. See, what you have to remember, Jamie, is that your parents brought you up. Now, you're Italian. And I know you have very, very strong families in Italy. You have to remember that your parents brought you up and have loved you right along the way. Usually, a lot of the time, parents blame themselves. They like, you know, what did we do that was wrong? And of course, they've done nothing wrong. You are just born like it. I do not believe that you choose to be straight or gay. You are born like it. Me? Am I happy with that? No. Actually, no. I wish that I could have had wife, children and all that. And that's the truth of it. A lot of other boys will say, oh, yeah, I'm very happy being like this. How could you ever, fancy a woman? Well, I thought I did and didn't really work for me. Eventually, you cannot cover it up. Eventually, it comes out. It forces itself out. Really does. I do believe you are born like that. You don't become that. Even though I was married, I did the whole married thing. I thought if I got married, I know that would sort everything out and what have you, But I'm afraid it doesn't. But as for telling people, in particular your parents, be very careful. You don't want to hurt them, do you? I know it's only a short email from you, but I'm of the opinion that you're actually a bit of a kind-hearted soul. 25 is still very young. It really is. I found over a period of time talking to other people, mums usually know. Okay? Mothers usually know. Probably she would be the one to go to first. If you ever wanted to. I mean, you don't have to. And then you could ask her, if she's okay with it, what do you think Dad would say? She may say, don't tell him. In which case, don't. I'm glad I never told my dad. I think it would have broken his heart. So, there you go. All right? So, there's no rush, Jamie. No rush at all. You take your time. If you want to know anything, send us an email. You might want to send a private one, okay? Anything I can help you with there. Usual address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Let's see. Oh, we got a lovely message here from someone. I don't have a name. It says it's Puck971, again on the YouTube, who sends a message to Joe's mum. Okay, we know Joe's mum. She's not too clever at the moment, and Joe asked for some of our prayers. Here's one here. Joe, I'm a non-believer, but I hope your mum gets better. And isn't it nice? And thank you very much for that, Puck. A lovely email. Just a little one there to say, yeah, we're thinking of you. And quite often it needs that. It needs that. Hi to Carmel. Hello, Carmel. Nice to hear from you. Oh, Chris, you had me in tears again. I just wanted to give you a big cuddle. So MW, what's moi? Oh, it's moi, isn't it? Moi. So moi from me. Don't put Tiny's ashes out in the cold. Keep them in the warm with you. That's what I would do. I think she wanted to go behind the bush. I still haven't decided yet, to be honest. Still haven't decided yet, darling. Okay? I'll let you know anyway. And Thomas Campbell, who we heard from the other week. Hello, Thomas. I thought he was still in college. He says, still in college? You flatter me, sir. I'm 25 next week. What is it with 25? It's not old. Honestly, it's not. Just because you come out your teens, I tell you what, when you get to 40, you'll suddenly realise what a terrible time your teenage years actually were. My God, I'd never want to be that age again. Oh, dear me. Susan, our cat lover, writes, show us the pictures of the RV. Oh, RV, the road. Do you remember that? What's that called? Road, where you're driving around a house. Oh, God. I'm losing my words today, aren't I? It's like a motorhome. Motorhome, that's it. One of our other listeners has got a beautiful motorhome, and he sent me the pictures. She says, show us the pictures. I can't. They've gone now. They've deleted, I'm afraid. Buying a travel trailer is a dream of mine too, Chris. Brian, that was it, is lucky to have one. I would love to see his pictures. Oh, I wish I kept them now. I'll have a look. They may still be on there, okay? Last year, I bought an SUV so I'd be able to tow a trailer. I still have my 2-seater convertible, but you can't try a travel trailer with that. No, you don't want a trailer. You want a motorised home. Oh, go, Susan, just look them up on the internet, girl. There's some fantastic trailer. We don't have them here in the UK, those motorised homes. Very, very few. But those things that they have in America are beautiful. It is a house on wheels. I mean, it really is a house on wheels. She says, the recreational vehicle show will be in Dallas next month. Da, 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 da. And I attend every year. I will spend all day looking at travel trailers. Next year, my mortgage will be paid off and I'm going to buy one. I know what you're thinking about us having those big SUVs and trucks, but what fun we have, yeah. I'd love a motorhome. Aren't they beautiful, stunning things? If you get a chance, look at the RV parks in the US. They are very different to the ones in Europe. The travel trailers over here are not limited in size like the ones in Europe and are more like apartments on wheels. Oh, I know. I've seen them, and I'll have another look for those pictures there, Susan. I'm sure they're in there somewhere. All right, my darling. So thank you very much for that. I wonder where I've put those pictures there. They're somewhere. Nearly time for me to go on the show today. Now, not next show, but the show after, we'll be talking to Millie, who's in that motorised wheelchair. Remember, we've got that coming up. I've also got some emails here that we'll get to on the next show, including one from another new person, TJ, who's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I haven't got time to read this today, but it'll be on the next show. Do join in by email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thanks for watching and listening. I'll see you on the next show. Ta-da.